Hi, thanks for listening and welcome back to Benjy's Cafe podcast with me, Ben Harlow. The kettle's on and joining me for a brew in Benjy's Cafe is the actor and writer Hayley Tamaddon. Hayley shot to fame as Del Dingle in ITV's Emmerdale before swapping the wellies for the Cobbles playing Andrea Beckett in Coronation Street. In 2010, with her skating partner Daniel Whiston, Hayley won the 5th series of ITV's Dancing on Ice, skating to a TV audience of 10 million viewers. Hayley can be seen in the hit British movie Eaten by Lions, and has starred in the musicals Chicago, The Rocky Horror Show, and as Miss Hedge in Everybody's Talking About Jamie. In 2022, Hayley won a new initiative from the Female Pilot Club and UK TV in their bid to find new comedy scripts by women featuring leading roles for women. She also hosts her own drive time radio show on Coastal Radio. In fact, I'm not sure there's anything she doesn't do. Oh yeah, and she's a super single mum. Enjoy listening. Hi Hayley, welcome to Benjy's Cafe. Thank you for joining us.
I'm going to take you everywhere with me in my pocket. So wherever I go, I just pop you out and you can do that intro for me because that was epic.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad you liked it. You look great. How's your morning been? Are you good?
I'm good. I'm sat in the radio studio. Look, there we go. In Blackpool,
yeah, fab.
Coastal Radio. I've recorded a couple of shows, chatting to you, and then I'll do a bit more work afterwards. Busy. It's good. I like being busy.
That's good. You are a super busy lady, that's for sure. Right, I'm going to start. I have to say this, and you might think I'm conkers bonkers. 2001, Hayley, I was working front of house at the Prince Edward Theatre on Mamma Mia, in which you played Lisa. And I have to say, I'd done a few jobs by then, but I was so blown away by your energy. Like, talk about human barocca, Hayley. Every single show, 8 times a week. I remember that finale. I think you ended downstage left in your pink with the girl playing Ali. But You seem to be having so much fun. And I just wondered where you got that work ethic from and if you had any idea just how happy you made people feel, let alone the front of house people who are struggling between jobs, auditioning, maybe not having the breaks. But every show without fail, you seem to be having a ball. And that was so infectious.
Oh, thank you. That's such a lovely thing to say. I think I definitely know where my work ethic comes from. It comes from my mum and dad. They worked their socks off, and it's all I actually remember as a kid was my mum and dad working so hard. My dad ran 4 hotels on the seafront in Blackpool. He was the manager of all 4, and my mum had her own cafe and restaurant. So our household. We never, some families get days off together and things like that. We never, ever really had that because my mum and dad solidly worked. And so I was brought up around that kind of work hard, things will pay off if you work hard. It was always like that for me, really. And I'm pleased about that because it has lived in me. I'm now 47 and my work ethic has never changed. It's just got better, I think. I'm a grafter, just like my mum and dad. Yeah.
And they must be so proud of you. Can you remember what age? Was there any kind of, musicality in the family? What age did you think, I quite fancy going to dance school to learn to sing? Was that sort of quite early on?
I honestly didn't. It was my mum took me to the doctors because I wouldn't eat. And the only thing, she took me to the doctors and she said, the only thing she'll eat is jam sandwiches. And the doctor said, take her to dance class. And my mum went, why? And the doctor said, because it'll burn her some energy and she'll want some more food. She'll get hungry. So I was 2.5 when my mum first took me to baby ballet. And 3 when she thought, she loves it. And I did. I just loved it. And that's how it started. At 3 years old, I could do the splits. by 6, I sounded like Bonnie Langford, and everybody was like, "Oh, this kid's gonna do something when she's older." And it's all I ever knew. It's all I ever wanted to do. I love to horse ride as well, but my mum was like, "Listen, we can't afford to do everything, and you're now dancing every night of the week. Now we've got drama lessons." That was one good thing my mum made me do when I was from the age of 6 or 7 years old. She sent me to elocution lessons.
Wow.
Now, these
Okay.
days, nobody would know what that is really,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was like drama lessons, but I was taught how to speak properly. So I think my mum was like, everyone in Blackpool's like, all right, like, you said naughty, get some water. And my mum was like, I just don't want her to grow up speaking, with like that. So I never lost my accent, but it did teach me a lot about different accents, how to pronounce my words. And that's where my love of acting came from, was from this lovely old woman that used to teach me, Margaret Burton. She used to teach me how to speak correctly.
You mentioned what age you first did the splits. I read a fantastic biog in a program once, and the guy was like, Jeff Sparkle started dancing at 8. And then in brackets it said this morning, which I thought was quite funny. But
Brilliant.
How interesting you mention your tutor there, Hayley, because we have so many role models, don't we, growing up? And I remember my drama teacher, my theatre teacher, and it's so lovely to have that guiding arm, isn't it, when you first starting out being creative, certainly as a youngster.
I think you have to remember where you came from, and a lot of people in this industry, I'm seeing it more and more now I'm getting older. People forget very quickly where they came from, how they were raised, how they got to where they are today. It's quickly forgotten, and that's for me. I like it when people are humble, and I think you need to live your life being humble and grateful for everything. The tiniest things you should be grateful for. So me recognizing who taught me how to act, it was Margaret Burton, little old lady, used to teach me, and my first dance school. And then after I left Phyllis Davis, I went to Phil Winston's, who's a very well known school. And then from there, I went to Lane Theatre Arts. Everybody's taught me something that, you can't climb a ladder without somebody helping you. So, I think you have to recognize and remember how you got to where you are today,
And I think certainly the most talented and inspiring actors that I've certainly worked with are the most humble ones, who are so grateful. They're polite to everybody. Their etiquette's fantastic, and you can't help but learn from people like that. Who in your early career had you worked with where you thought, oh, I'd like to be like them? That you thought, gosh, they conduct themselves so well.
Oh, there's too many to choose from. There really is. I don't think you ever get it right in your first ever job. I know my first job at 19. I did a panto at Derby Playhouse straight out of college. That was my first job, which I got myself, back of the stage newspaper. Remember that?
Yeah, my God, yeah.
I was busy chatting in the wings at 19, and I missed my cue. I have never missed a cue since, and I'm 47. And the reason is because the two older actors, Omar Okai. I don't know if you know Omar.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He is a legend. Google him. He's amazing. He took me to one side and gave me some stern words. And he said to me, that will be the last time you ever talk in the wings and miss a cue. And I was petrified. But at the same time, he was teaching me. He taught me so much that I remember today. And now when I see him, he comes to like shows I'm in and press nights and stuff. He's such a wonderful friend. I always say to him, thank you, because you helped. And then I did my next musical, which was Fame. Again, I was 19 years old. I was understudying 3 female leading roles.
Wow.
And again, I think I was just overly bouncy and excited all the time. And I was pulled in by one of the older cast, and he gave me a couple of words. You don't leave your costumes on the floor. You do tip your dresses. You make sure you do that. I had that given to me, and I can only ever be grateful for that information. And now as an adult, I want to pass that on. I want to help the younger ones coming into this industry. I want to be there for them in a good, positive light, so that in 25 years from now, they turn around and say to their mates, Remember that old Hayley Tamaddon? She taught me a lot. I want to do that for people. I'm a huge advocate in helping the younger generation thrive in this business because it is not easy at all.
It's certainly tough, isn't it? And
Yeah.
do you remember the buzz around Mamma Mia, the Prince Edward Theatre? It was like the place to go. Like, it was the hottest ticket, wasn't it? At that age, Hayley, in your career, you must have felt so grateful. What a show to be in, and it was the hottest ticket in town, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had just finished before I got that show. I just finished an arena tour of Sweden, Scandinavia, Norway, Finland. We went round and did Fame the musical, and Greece. We did Greece as well. I worked for this company twice, and there was a lady called Nicola Traherne and Anthony Van Last.
Yeah.
They were choreographing these big arena tours. So we'd go out and perform a musical to 16,000 people. It was crazy. And whilst I was doing one of these shows, they said, we've got a couple of auditions we think you're going to be good for. One is Starlight Express and the other is Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia is going to be in the West End, and Starlight Express, I think maybe that was in the West End as well. It was. The Victoria Palace, I think that was at. And I always wanted to be in Starlight Express. Always. Like it was a dream. And when I got back to London after doing this big job, I went and auditioned for both. And it was the same people. And so they chose which one I got. And they wanted me in Mamma Mia. And I was like, but I really want to do Starlight Express. And they said, no, we think you're going to be brilliant in Mamma Mia. And I got it. And I mean, it was only the second cast. I feel like in terms of how my career started and where it is now, if it all ended tomorrow, wow, what a ride. Like, I've just had the best time. And I hope it doesn't end tomorrow. I've got loads more I want to do. Yeah. But if it did, I could safely say, in 20 years and say to my own child, your mom did this, she did this, she did this. It's just, I'm thrilled. I'm very lucky.
Right. I've done my finished my fangirling now, Hayley, with Mamma Mia. The second point I really wanted to make, and kind of why I was really looking forward to chatting to you in Benjy's Cafe today, is I follow you on social media, and your relationship with your son Jasper completely resonates with me. I think it's beautiful. I don't know you, I don't know you, but I'm aware of your work, but that relationship seems so beautiful, Hayley. It really reminds me of myself and my mum. You must be so proud of that relationship with him, and I see the creativity you install in him, and it's just joyous. What a lovely guy.
Oh, he is. I suppose as parents, all parents just love their kids. There's no love like it. It's a crazy, crazy feeling. I had it since the moment I laid eyes on him, this insane in love feeling with him. And because I am a single mom, I've been a single mom for over 2.5 years now. He was a tot, when this all happened. It changes you. It's changed me. And I've gone through this roller coaster of emotions. And I feel like I am now the strongest version of myself I have ever been. And when you are, any mom is a superhero, but a single mom, there's no help. There's nobody to lean on. There's nobody to share the nighttime duties. There's nobody to scream at when you're just frustrated that you've only had 2 hours sleep. You don't get any of that. And it's been training for me. I've had to train myself. And listen, none of us are perfect, right? We're just not. And especially parents, we're not perfect. We get it wrong a lot. And I get it wrong a lot. But I tell you what I'm proud of myself for is I've taught him how to feel empathy and how to be, that I say sorry to him a lot when I get things wrong, or I shout when I shouldn't shout. The first thing I do is get down on his level and say, I am so sorry. Mummy should not have done that, and I'm very sorry. And didn't think he was retaining it until kind of late being 3 and into being 4 years old. He's blown my mind. He woke up this morning and he'd done something last night that was a bit naughty, a little bit cheeky. And this morning he woke up and apologised for it. It's the first thing he said when he opened his eyes. Mummy, I'd like to say sorry for what I did last night. And in my mind, I'm like, what did you do?
Yeah.
I can't remember. He said, last night I said that to you and it wasn't a very nice thing to say. And I was like, wow. And straight away I said, you are a brilliant, beautiful boy and it's always okay. But when I tell other people, they say, Hayley, that's you. You've helped him be this boy, you know. And so I'm proud of myself for that, you know. I am, because there is just me doing it. So yeah, I hope I'm raising a very funny, my God, he's funny, Ben. He's so funny. Some of the things he comes out with, honestly, for 4 years old, you know, I've never heard anything like it. It's like he's like a little comedian. I don't know where I know I love comedy and I do funny stuff, but he blows my mind. You know, I said something to him the other day about a woman, and I couldn't remember what her name was. I said, what should we call her? I can't remember. And he went, Angela. And I was like, where have you heard the name Angela? We don't even know anyone called Angela. Yeah, she's definitely an Angela, Mummy, you can tell. I'm like, where is that sarcasm coming from? He's so funny. He's so funny. And we have the best adventures, you know, we really do.
Yeah. Like, where do you find time, Hayley? Like, your career, you're here, there and everywhere, and yet you're off on these amazing day trips. Do you think it's kind of that work ethic installed by your parents, Hayley, that kind of helps you cope with the demands of being a single mother, like those days when you do feel crap, when you're tired, you're still, I'm sure, you know, worried about work between contracts, yet, you know, you're there and you're up and on for Jasper, aren't you? Do you think your upbringing has really helped with that?
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, me and Jasper live with my parents. Thank the Lord, because you know, after what we both went through a few years ago, I needed my family, and my mum and dad are the biggest support. And, you know, if I have to go away for work for a few days, it's my mum and dad who have Jasper. So he is growing up being best mates with his grandparents. You know, what a relationship they have. It's just beautiful. And so I think that is helping shape him as well. That's molding him as well. We are very adventurous. I want to be you know, a lot of the times I'm skint, to be fair, Ben, but the money I do earn, when I earn it, I give it, it's his. You know, I want to give him the best life I can possibly give him. And for me, that's travel. I want to travel with him. I want him to see the world and try different foods and see different people and hear different accents and learn different things. I really want him to be able to have all of that. So I'll tell you a funny story, which a lot of mums are like, you did what? I am a nightmare for scrolling on Skyscanner for cheap flights.
Okay.
And last night, yes, you heard, last night, I found really, really cheap flights to Geneva.
Oh my God.
So I booked them and pressed the button and was like, oh my God, I've done it. And then I was like, okay, now I need somewhere to stay, figure out how to get from the train. But I thrive off it. Honestly, I really should be a travel agent. I thrive off like spontaneity.
Yeah.
And going, well, we go in the morning at 5 a.m. So I did this last night and we go at 5 a.m. So whilst he's asleep last night, I'm like, okay, I'm going to book this. I've got to book the hotel. I've got to keep it under budget. Let's find the best cheese shop we can go to because we love cheese. Let's go Swiss chocolate hunting. Let's find the zoo in Geneva. So I'm thinking, what can we do in Geneva for 3 days? Oh, we are chock-a-block now. I've got a bunch of ideas. And so we'll go and we'll just figure it out on the way. And, you know, I don't want to be one of these mums that panics about everything. If I've got it, let's go. If I've got the free time, let's use it. So yeah, I've got a long weekend off and we're going to go to Geneva.
I love that. And how exciting you can share these like wonderful adventures together.
I know. And I don't have a lot of money. I'm a single parent. I
Mm,
don't get help from anyone else. When I do a job, I look at the budget I've got and I think, right, well, I'm going away. We'll definitely go on holiday with that money. But I have to keep it under budget. And that's another really good thing. I love to help other single parents, single moms figure out
mm.
how to go on holiday with their kids and feel safe and confident to do it, because it's a scary thought, just going on holiday with your child on your own. It's nerve wracking. But I've got it down to a fine art now, Ben. We've done it a good 5 times now. So yeah, Geneva, I'll let you know how it goes.
With the excitement of that trip and all your other adventures with Jasper, it really is infectious, Hayley. You should be so proud, and there's literally no doubt in my mind you inspire so many other single mothers, and that's massive credit to you. I just think it's wonderful. What I also want to touch on, you mentioned there the support network from your parents, but also, the theatre world. There's that support network there. You must have a great circle of friends. Certainly, you're friends with Daniel, who you weren't dancing on ice with. People like him, and also family, but particularly friends as well. It's important for you to have your time, your time to yourself as well, to have your fun.
I don't have much of that anymore.
Mm,
Actually, this was a conversation I had with my mum the other night, because I was invited to a party in Manchester, a birthday
right.
party, where a lot of my friends were going to be. And I knew I would have a good time. But I tend not to go anymore because of Jasper, because I don't want
Mm,
to put all the burden on my mum. And I don't have any other, there's no one I can just go, hey, come over and just stay with Jasper tonight for me. I don't have that. Yes, we all have really good friends. And yeah, I could say to Dan, will you have Jasper for a few hours? But I would never leave Jasper overnight in a new place that he'd never been to before. So with his grandparents, he's comfortable. And my mum was like, get out, go to the party. So I did. But these days, going out for me is very different. I don't
mm,
want to drink a lot. I don't want to wake up even with the slightest of fuzzy heads.
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
be up at 7. I want to send my child to nursery. I want to go to the gym. I want to give life its best chance. And yeah, I can't believe I'm saying that, because I used to be the queen of going out, drink the prosecco, have a
Yeah,
ball,
yeah.
and now I can still do it, but I'm just in bed a lot earlier.
Well, it's funny. I stopped drinking in April. Yes, I've nearly done a year now, and literally the clarity it gives you. But it's the energy, Hayley, isn't it? Just like waking up and feeling good, and the fact that you're there for Jasper every morning. You can do the school run, so you're
Yeah,
present for that. Him growing up every step of the way, which
yeah,
is fantastic. I think
a
that's
hundred
so good.
percent, 100%. I mean, I'm so proud of you. To stop drinking is just the biggest achievement. I think if you are someone like me, I have a very good cut-off point. I always did have, even when before Jasper, and I went out a lot more. But now I go out with that in my head, is when
Yeah.
it gets to this time, I'm probably going to go home, and I certainly don't want to drink more than 3 or 4 glasses of prosecco during my whole evening, and then I'm in bed by 11 o'clock, and I'm up again at 7. And I feel great. So listen, each to their own. But for
Yeah.
me, for me, that's what's important. It's really important that I never feel bad around Jasper because I've gone out and
Yeah.
drank too much. I certainly don't need alcohol to have a good dance.
Well,
Not at all. I was
I mean,
stood on the tables in Albert Schloss in Manchester last week, dancing away with Dr. Ranj. I
amazing.
think I'd had 3 proseccos the whole night. That was it. I was drinking Coca-Cola. What are you drinking? I was like, Coke.
Well, I think if I danced on the tables, I'd smash my head on the ceiling. I'm 6'6", so I
You
won't give
are.
that one a go.
And never dance next to me because we would look like a comedy sketch.
There's no doubt Jasper's going to grow up and he'll look at your career credits, musical theatre, TV, film, all your media work. But also, I think it's just going to think, God, my mum's bloody cool. And that must be lovely for you to feel.
I hope he thinks I'm cool. He's already at 4 years old. He understands, and this is not me installing this in him. This is just him. He understands what embarrassment is. Like when he feels embarrassed, he's also started saying, "No, mummy, don't come in. Don't come with me. It's okay." And I'm like, "Wow, you're 4."
Yeah.
So in like 4 more years, he's gonna be like, when he goes to dance class, "No, mummy, no, you stay in the car. You wait in the car." I can see it coming. So, but I'm glad he's got his own little independence, his personality. He's his own little person, very determined, and knows everything before he's even been taught it. "I can do it, mummy. I can do it on my own." I'm like, okay. And you have to bite your tongue. Because what I want to do is, can you? No, let mummy show you. But I have to stand there and go, "Okay, yeah, you go for it. Show mummy that you can do it." And then when he struggles or he can't, he passes it over. It's just, I just want him to feel good. I want him to grow up feeling good. That's what I want.
Well, that mother-child relationship it's such a beautiful thing, isn't it, Hayley? We talked about you in Greece, the Arena Tour of Greece, Mamma Mia, me fangirling you in Mamma Mia. But also you played Miss Hedge in the fantastic musical Everybody's Talking About Jamie. A beautiful story there, wonderful heart, and that relationship between Jamie and his mum, Margaret. I mean, crikey, that completely touched me, that the bond they had. And was that a show you enjoyed? And it's a beautiful story and a beautifully constructed show, isn't it? Especially for audiences of this generation, I would say.
Oh, gosh, absolutely. A story that needs to be told, actually. And we got the chance to take it on tour. So you can take it to different cities, different regions. So everybody gets a chance to see this amazing show with the most superb cast as well. I've done it twice now. When the first time I was pregnant with Jasper,
Wow.
and I
How
couldn't
was
tell
that?
any of the cast. Oh God!
Oh, wow.
What a roller coaster that was.
Because you're on the table. You're on the tables again, aren't you? What's this with you dancing on tables, Hayley?
I know, right? I had to kind of very carefully blame an old back injury. For not being lifted by the boys and not being put on the tables and not wearing heels and things like that.
Right.
And then at like 10 weeks, my bump popped very early. And the doctor was like, "Oh, I think you're probably going to have a big baby, And I said, "I'm going to have to tell work." So I had to tell work at 10 weeks, keeping my fingers crossed for everything, because I was just showing. And so I had to have new costumes made and everything. But yeah, he was born a few months later. I can't believe I did that show at 4 months pregnant. It's crazy.
Were people aware? We'll touch on your soap success, but just going back into musical theatre after being on a soap, were people aware of all that groundwork you'd done before your TV exposure?
This is an interesting question, and you're probably asking me because you might have heard other people talking about this, but when you go into a musical, when you've been in a soap, and it generally is soaps, you go into a musical afterwards, and if people haven't done their research on you, they tend to think you've never done it before.
Yeah.
So you almost have to go in proving a point, and then you can see people's reactions when when you're off book on day one and you sing your first song in rehearsals, and it almost makes people go, "Oh, thank God." Thank God she's all right. But the thing is, what people tend to forget is being in a soap is one of the hardest jobs that there is in this business. We record up to 14 scenes a day, some of them two-handers, and you learn your scripts in 3 days. You get given them on a Thursday and you start again on Monday. That's 14 scripts from Thursday to Monday over a weekend that you've got to read and learn and read and learn. It's honestly one of the hardest fast-pacing jobs I've done, and it set me, when I started Emmerdale, I knew, oh, this is my grounding.
Yeah.
This is my telly grounding. I've got to learn everything now. And I did, so years down the line when I got Coronation Street, I'd done quite a bit of telly in between Emmerdale and Corrie, and so it felt way more comfortable. But that fast pace of filming and learning scripts so quickly, having to learn a script, when you go into a theatre job, I'd already done a whole bunch of musicals before I did soaps. If people haven't done their research, you're going to not know that. So my always tip to tell the younger generation, do your research on who you're working with. If you've got names in your show, find out what they've done before.
Yeah.
Where did they come from? Did they train? So you can approach them with the right attitude, because there have been times. I once had one girl say to me, very young, she was 19, and I was in a show called Thoroughly Modern Millie, and I played Millie. And at the end of one of the big numbers, I sometimes would drop down a third. So instead of hitting the top note, if I was feeling a bit hoarse, I'd drop it down a third. And one day on the press night, I went up to the top note, hit it, then panicked, so I dropped it a third. Sounded great. Nobody would have known, apart from me and the MD. And after the curtain went down, all the cast erupted, picked me up in the air. We were all celebrating our first opening night. And her words to me were, well done. And if you ever want any help with that big note, you let me know.
Oh, my word.
And she was my understudy. She happened to be my understudy. And I never forget the other older cast members' faces around me. And I said, thank you. I will ask you if I need your help. Thank you so much. And I let her go. And the older cast went, what? How did you deal with that like that? Why did you wait? You didn't kick off. And I said, no, I didn't kick off because I've been 19. And I bet you any money she really genuinely meant it. There's just the wrong thing to say, And so for me, I just want to help. I want to help that younger generation. Give them tips, give them advice, say the right things, pick your costumes up. It's all stuff like that. Nobody really teaches you that at college, the theatre etiquette, don't go off. If you get a sniffle, don't go off and let people down. If you've got a sniffle, figure it out first. Is it just a sniffle or are you losing your voice? But these days it's just different, Ben. There's a different feel to it these days, Remember who you meet on the way up because you will always meet them on the way down and they'll be going up past you. And I hope, we all make mistakes in our younger generation when we're 19, 20, but I hope as I've got older that I can go through shows and people will go, yes, book Hayley Tamaddon, she's nice and she's friendly and she's this, that, the other. I want that. I don't want people to have to worry about my name,
Well, your attitude worked. I haven't worked with you, but through, I was panto with Steve Royal. Lots of people I've worked with who've worked with you and they'll go, Hayley's lovely, she's fantastic. And you get the vibe of somebody, even if you haven't worked with them, especially in the theatre world, I guess.
Yeah.
But with TV, though, when you first got Emmerdale, was that super exciting? Did you feel ready for it?
I thought I was ready for it because all I've ever been saying to my mum from being 3 or 4 years old is one day I'll be famous.
Yeah.
And I said it all the time. It was what I always wanted. I always wanted to be famous for performing. And when Emmerdale audition came, I was singing in a band, earning, I don't know, 30 quid a night. I had no money. I was skint. And just singing in a band, doing social clubs. And this audition came in and I had to drive through the night to get from somewhere like Skegness to Leeds after my gig I drove the big van, got to Leeds in a massive Mercedes van with all the equipment, singing
Yeah.
equipment in the back. Went in and did my first audition, and I had my scripts in a file. And as I walked up. The casting director was stood there with the director and a writer and the series producer. As I read my script, turned around, walked away, a piece of paper fell out of my file, and it was a bill, like a council tax bill.
Oh my God.
And the producer picked it up, and she went, I think you owe some money. And I was like, I really need this job.
Yeah, amazing.
It was so funny. And after that, I had 4 other auditions. I had 5 auditions for Emmerdale in total. And my last audition, there was 5 other girls and me.
Yeah.
And we had to do a big workshop. And then we got sat down and we all got media training just in case we got the job. And then 2 days later, my agent rang and said, "Are you sitting down?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You got it. You are Delilah
Wow.
Dingle." And I can't, honestly, that feeling just blows me away to this day. And then me and my friend were walking through Leeds. So I'd moved to Leeds. I'd
Right.
started filming, but you're not on screen for 6 weeks, right? So I moved to Leeds, walking down the street, and we walked past a van, like a white van with some builders in, and he's got his window down and he's reading the newspaper, and my friend just grabbed my arm and turned me, and he's reading a double-page spread of me. There's my pictures all over this newspaper. And then my friend grabbed his arm and went, "Look." And I went, "Hello." This guy was like, "Oh my
Oh
God, it's
man.
Delilah Dingle." Well, that was it. We ran into the nearest newsagents and bought all of the newspapers. And life changed overnight very quickly. Yeah. Pretty
And I
dramatic,
suppose,
actually.
oh, massively. And I'm sure, like when you joined Coronation Street, you were kind of ready for that world, ready for that environment, weren't you?
Yeah, I was much better. I didn't cope very well with it in Emmerdale. And I never went anywhere without a hat. I mean, I wear my hat a lot now anyway, but my hat became my security because I was terrified. I became really anxious about being recognised. And I was recognised a lot. I played a dingle. People wanted to stop and talk and grab me and,
Yeah.
all the time. And actually, I started to have panic attacks about it and ended up having to go to the doctor and say, I'm really panicking. But this is what I'd wanted all my life. So I don't understand why it affected me so much. But it really was. It was hot. I really struggled with it. And I learned a lot from the other girls and how they dealt with it. Being in a soap, you are in everybody's house every night of the week. So you can't go anywhere without you are. And then when Emmerdale came along, I was ready. Corrie. When Corrie came along, I was more ready. I'd done Dancing on Ice. People knew me as Hayley, which is lovely. And then I did Corrie and felt a lot more with it, shall we say?
Because it must be a very, very difficult to cope with at first. That recognition, being recognised, in Leeds, Manchester. But how interesting that, having done Emmerdale, you then had the grounding, you were ready for Corrie, and the fact that Dancing on Ice helped that as well. Was that important for you to get out there to the British public as yourself, having played so many theatre characters, having starred in Emmerdale?
It's not why I did the show. I did the show because when I was a little girl, me and Dan Whiston were mates. We grew up together. He skated, I danced. Then he joined my dance school, but I couldn't skate. My mum couldn't afford for me to do skating lessons, so I never skated. When this show came around, I begged every year, "Please let me do Dancing on Ice. Let me do Dancing on Ice." When it eventually got offered to me, I couldn't believe it. And then they partnered me with Dan. I mean, it was literally like every dream come true for us two. It's all we'd wanted to do was skate together. and dance together. And this was it, dancing on ice. It was hard work. It was a lot of falling over, a lot of being angry at myself because I couldn't do it. You know, I could do lovely arms and put a face on, but honestly, it's the hardest thing. But when you get it, and when I was with Dan, I was lost in this world of just me and him. It's like we fell in love with each other every time we skated together, and we'd get lost in every routine we'd do. There was just me and him, and the end of it was like a light bulb moment, and everyone applauses, and you go, oh God, that just happened. Oh my God. And you're kind of back in the room.
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest sensation, but the best job I've ever done.
And like 10 million TV viewers as well. But, you know, I watched the series. I loved it. And you're so graceful together. It's so beautiful to watch your musicality.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I think if you've had any performance training, you don't have an advantage because this is a skating show, but you know how to use your face if you've had performance training. Whereas, you know, you look at the likes of Greg Rutherford, who was incredible, you know, who's never had performance training, but wow, like he blew me away this year. And that's the difference. Amber from this year, brilliant all-rounder. She learnt to skate, she learnt to perform. You know, I think Dancing on Ice is one of the best shows that we've got, and I absolutely am so grateful I got to do it. So grateful.
Do you think you'll be ice skating in Geneva when you go with Jasper? There might be some frozen lakes there. Take your skates, perhaps, Hayley. Pop them in your hand luggage.
It's 19 degrees.
Is
Can
it?
you believe it? Yeah. It's
Back to 30 then.
Degrees. I know, it's 19 degrees. And then on the third day we're there, it drops to 6 degrees. I'm like, what?
You're like,
okay.
Whoa.
I know. So I'm taking one dress and one waterproof suit.
You'll be covered. It's been so lovely to have you with me today, enjoying your brew in Benjy's Cafe. Just quickly ask all my guests, I love my food, I'm a right old pig. What's on the dinner menu tonight?
I actually don't know the answer to that tonight. It could be last night's remains.
Nice.
Which was the best curry ever.
Oh, now we're cooking.
Oh, it was so good. And my dad makes Persian rice with everything. So if you've never had Persian food, you should go to a Persian restaurant and try it. You will be blown away. But my dad makes the best rice. Oh my God, with saffron. And he makes this crispy potato topping called tadik, which you cut into the rice, and it's honestly, it's amazing.
My word. We'll have to get your dad a job at Benjy's Cafe. He sounds an amazing chef.
He would love to do that. So yeah, we could have remainders of curry tonight with Persian rice.
Beautiful. Well, enjoy. Whatever you have, enjoy. You juggle so many plates, Hayley. Your theatre career, wow. Your TV career, amazing. Your film career, your writing, you're non-stop. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for a cup of tea. You are a super single mum. And I hope you have a wonderful time in Geneva with Jasper.
Thanks.
How cool.
I'll let you know.
Send us a postcard.
I will. And some chocolate and some cheese fondue.
Oh, j'adore le fromage. No, that's French. Where's Geneva?
It is French. They speak French in Geneva. It's Switzerland, but they speak French.
Fantastique.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hayley. Au revoir. À plus. Have a great day, and thanks for joining us at Benjy's Cafe. Thanks for joining me in Benjy's Cafe. Hope you enjoyed listening to Hayley and your coffee too. Make sure you hit follow so every episode gets sent straight to your phone. No booking required, available wherever you get your podcasts. In episode 4, I'll be chatting to choreographer and 2022 Mr. Gay England, David Allwood. I'll get the kettle on. Have a great day.